The conversation with Rob Heinrich from the Indiana Area School District, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Yeah, we had a dead line here, but we're on the line with him now. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Wonderful. It's good to have you on the air with us here today. Big, important meeting of the School Board Academic and Extracurricular Activities Committee tonight, discussing back to school. And I know within the administration, within the school board, within the hallways everywhere, they're talking about how do we get kids safely back into school? And that word safely is important in this conversation, isn't it?
Absolutely. Safety is always our number one priority. And school board passed a plan back in May to reopen. And at the time, it seemed like it was a perfect plan. It had options for our families. But now, with the new mask order and the sharp rise in cases across the country and in Indiana, they thought it wise to get back together to look over the plan again, consider other options, and make sure that we can, in fact, safely reopen our schools.
Two of the big points made with tonight's agenda, masks and heat-related issues for the students, and the possibility of maybe pushing it back a little bit, the start of school. September 8th is the date mentioned in the agenda item, so that maybe some cooler weather and just a little bit more flexibility in terms of reacting to anything new that comes up. Those seem like pretty good, solid ideas, don't they?
Yes, sir. We thought it was prudent to delay the start of school until after the Labor Day holiday. That buys us, like you said, a week and a half of the hottest months of the year to try to get through this. Our schools were not built to accommodate students wearing masks. They get warm, especially elementary schools, where we think our children will have the hardest time maintaining the masks. They're going to be a distraction. They're going to be a problem for our youngest learners, and we want to make sure they're as comfortable and as safe as possible. And so delaying the school will get us through a few more hot days, and then, of course, the superintendent would impose his right to cancel school if it ever got to the point where we thought it was going to be too hot to comfortably wear the mask.
Talking to a school board member last week, that was one of the concerns that he had, was the fact that, these young kids, they don't have as big an ability to adjust, to adapt to changes. You want to get them into a habit, and when there's so much uncertainty, it can really be upsetting for a kid. It can affect them, can't it?
It can, and we're working on ways to positively reinforce those behaviors. Our teachers always do a great job at taking a positive approach to classroom management and student behavior, and this will be no exception. They will turn these procedures of wearing masks into a quote-unquote fun thing, as fun as possible, and a daily routine that the students will, hopefully fall into and get used to very quickly. It's not to say there's not going to be any problems. We believe that there will be some students who struggle.
Sure.
And we'll make accommodations for those students. Talking
with Rob Heinrich, Director of Education at the Indiana Area School District. The school district has been surveying parents, trying to get an idea of their thoughts and concerns and even their plans for the fall. I'm sure you've gotten at least some of those results back. Have anybody had a chance to really analyze what some of those responses are?
Yes, sir. Right now it looks like about 67% of our families intend to return. That's wow. How the returns are back on the survey we sent out. Now that's down quite a bit. It was 83% when we started, but it's now down to about 67%, which is a pretty sharp drop, and that happened right after the mask order, and then continued to fall after the rise in cases. So right now we have 221 students who are choosing to go the online route with our Ideal program, and then another 175 who are requesting some sort of hybrid approach where we keep our kids in school but teach them online to keep them safe. But 67% of our families intend to send their kids back to school for the traditional model with, of course, the mask and the social distancing in place.
Yeah, so that's 2 out of 3 of the families so far. But as you said, those things change, and sometimes the news cycle will change those numbers pretty dramatically, and that can happen over the course of just a single day.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the numbers currently, of course, Florida's continues setting records. Houston is in a critical place. But we've been insulated from some of that here in Indiana for the most part. Only 0.0002% of our population have tested positive for COVID, but that number is kind of misleading. We have higher than normal test rates for positivity in our county. The county is at 6.1% positive test rates. The rest of the state counties are around 4.4%. So we are testing higher than positive. So it is cause for concern, and it is our responsibility to make sure we can safely reopen the schools.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we understand that a lot of the reason for that is because generally it's people who are feeling symptomatic who go and get those tests. But still, you have to pay attention to numbers like that. Sort of opens up your eyes to what some of the possibilities are. One of the things that came out over the weekend was APSCUF at IUP and the other state system schools. Their faculty very concerned about getting back into an in-class environment. What have you heard from Indiana area teachers? I'm sure some of them are quite concerned as well.
Well, absolutely. Everybody's concerned. I mean, it's a scary, scary thing. And when you're being asked to be in a room with 25 other human beings, all breathing and on each other for the whole day, it is concerning. However, we've been working with the Indiana Area Education Association. They've been part of our planning process from day one. We generally, and we share these concerns. We work for positive outcomes. We recently just sent a survey to our staff to poll them on any specific medical needs anyone might have that would increase the risk of infection, with the goal being we're going to make every accommodation we can for those people to keep them safe, because the safety of our staff is of the utmost importance as well. So we're going to work with our staff. We're going to make sure that they feel safe to come back as much as we can, and then we can get these kids back into school and learning. So we haven't heard any specific, overt, over-the-top concerns, but we're going to work through each individual one with the association.
Absolutely. And the planning process over the course of the next month is just going to get more intense, and I'm sure that everybody in the administration and within the school district itself, you're all geared up for this, aren't you? This is the crucial time.
It absolutely is, and it's time to get to work and execute whatever plan we pick here. And we're working very, very hard all summer long. Coming up, I think we're on version 17 of the health and safety plan, and it seems like every time we get something in place, something happens. Like you said, in the news cycle, it changes everything. So we have to fall back, but we're dedicated to, we have a responsibility to educate kids, and whether that is in person or whether it's online or some combination thereof, we're going to do our best to make sure everybody is safe and moving forward. We can't afford to let this generation of students just, get lost. And so we're going to do everything we can to make sure we can bring them back and educate them in safe a manner as possible.
Absolutely. All right, Rob. Hey, I want to thank you for spending some time with us here this morning. This has been informative, and we'll talk again. There's going to be a lot of occasion when we'll need your expertise and everybody within the district. Thanks for being with us today.
Happy to help. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.